right, what's happening, Facebook? How you guys doing? Hey, so today I mentioned this on my stories. Now, again, if you're not following me on my stories, please follow me on my stories. You'll see I'm posting a ton of content there all the time, just sharing different things I think about. But I thought, given the fact that we are in the month of October, we're getting ready to go into November, and there's a couple of things that are on your mind. I know it's on my mind. Number one, I'm thinking about the fact that Thanksgiving is coming up and the holidays are coming up, and I know I want to see my family, but so does COVID want to see my family, and so does the cases spiking. And how do I make sure that I'm doing the best things for my family? Right? We might have to make some adjustments. I know that's been on my brain. It's probably on your brain as well. The second thing that's been on my brain is, okay, what do I do about that as an individual to make sure that my body is running at its peak? Well, I decided what I was going to do over the next, I don't know how long this series is going to take. It could be a week, 2 weeks, what have you, but I'm actually share with you some information that I'm just learning really about more when it comes to my gut. Yeah, my gut health. The thing that I don't even think a lot of times we don't pay too much attention to, just because we're kind of, I don't know, we're more creatures of reaction and of habit as opposed to really change. Sometimes we don't change until we have to. So what I wanted to do was give us some proactive things to think about. How do you make sure that your gut, the engine in your body, which is the car that everybody sees, that's the outerwear, right? But most people don't see your engine. How do you make sure your engine is running properly? So I'm gonna share just a couple of things over the next. It's probably gonna take several 8 different episodes to be able to pull off successfully. But I'm learning a whole lot when it comes to my personal body and how to make sure that I'm able to do everything I need to do as a parent, as a husband, as a friend, just somebody in the community, just running around, all the different things that we do. How do I make sure that I am minimizing my opportunities to have a weakened immune system? All right. So I'm gonna just share with you some of the things that I am learning. If you find this stuff helpful, man, tell somebody else. Share this video with somebody else. If you are on here and maybe you feel that this is been a help to you, tell me down in the chat. I'll respond. I try to respond as soon as humanly possible. I'll be watching the chat here. I'm looking at you on my camera, but I'm also looking at my notes and making sure that I pay attention to the comments as well, so that I can answer people as they come in. All right. With that being said, let's get started. So here's the first thing I want to kind of address, because I think again, I think we're creatures of habit and reaction. We wait until there's a problem and then we react to that problem. And a lot of times the way we react and the quick fix solution doesn't actually get to the problem. What we've done is we've masked the problem by creating quick fixes, which create longer issues, right? And so on and so forth. So what I thought I would do is, let's talk about this for a second when it comes to our immune system, when it comes to what ideas can we use and what can we leverage. There's 2 things that have happened to me over my 1.5 year journey of losing weight. So many of you know I've lost 65 pounds since April of 2019. That had a lot to do with my trainer. Shout out to Marcus and the team, because they have helped me in a tremendous way in just changing my brain and my focus and the way I think about the way I work out. But more importantly, he's really challenged me on the way I eat. So it's 2 part. It's what I do on the outside, and it's really what I do more so internally in my gut, the things that I'm putting into it, so that I can perform and be optimal when I'm working out, and I can see the type of gains that I'm looking for. Now, when I say gains, I don't mean gains in muscle mass and all of that. What I mean is your gain might be I'm trying to lose, right? So I gotta eat the right things to lose the right weight, right? Or it could be vice versa. Maybe you are trying to bulk up. Maybe you're trying to lean out. Whatever your gain is your gain. For me, I was 248 pounds. I wanted to lose all the weight. My initial goal was 200. I beat that, got down to 185. Now what I'm trying to do is have that beach body, so to speak, every single day. But it's taken a lot out of me. And what I mean by that is I didn't realize just how important my gut, what I ate, when I ate, the amount of rest that I get was all factored into what my body was going to look like at any given moment. So let me share with you just specifically, I want to talk about your gut. And I don't mean the exterior of it. I mean what's happening on the inside. So I'm gonna just share a couple of things with you guys, and then you'll be on your way. And if you're watching this replay, thank you. Share it with somebody. Let somebody know that you found this, and maybe you find this extremely helpful as you get ready to go into November, December. All right. So first and foremost, let's kind of talk about, there's two lines of defense that we all have when it comes to viruses and everything else. The first one is really has everything to do with your skin. Some of you might not know this. Your skin is the largest organ on your body. All right. And it's breathing just like your lungs. Now, I want you to think about that for a second, because many of us don't stop to think about, well, okay, if it's my largest organ and it's breathing, what am I potentially putting on it, right? And what's seeping through past my skin to my bloodstream that could be contributing to a lot of my common issues, right? Let's just start there. That's a whole nother conversation. But you basically have like 5 layers to your skin, okay? And those 5 layers to your skin all have a purpose. Every single thing, the human body is fascinating because every single thing on it has a purpose, right? Even if we don't fully understand it as humans, it all has a purpose. The skin has 5 layers. Every single layer is like an anti-defense mechanism purpose, right? It does certain things for the human body that make sure that you can, keep things out, right? Or remove things, get things out of your system. For example, your sweat is actually not just you sweating, but it also is a part of your defense mechanism because it's removing things from your body. That's why they talk about it's good to get exercise and it's good to sweat. It's not just to open up your pores, but it's because you're actually getting rid of things that are potentially harmful to the body, right? So anyway, let's go back to the basics because I can go on all day, but I want to make this simple, short, and sweet. Your skin is your largest organ. It's breathing just like your lungs. And whatever you put on it, from what I understand from talking to people who really pay attention to like skincare and things of that nature, in 26 seconds, whatever you put on your skin ends up in your bloodstream. So think about that the next time you put on your lotion, the stuff you cleaning your clothes with, your smell goods, your perfumes, your whatever, right? Like you wouldn't spray a perfume that's got a lot of toxins in your mouth because you choke, right? Because of the stuff. But we have no hesitation on spraying it on our skin. That's just something for you to think about, right? Now, why is this important and what does this have to do with your gut? Because remember, it doesn't matter if you have a Ferrari on the outside and it looks beautiful and it's awesome. If you're not taking care of your gut, well, that thing is going to be a parked car, basically. And it's not going to move and it's just going to sit there. And it's mainly because what we don't realize is if you don't take care of the engine of your body, the rest, it will show on the rest of your body, right? Many of us, if we eat bad, our skin tells the story, right? Our eyes tell the story. Our body will tell the story, right? The fatigue, the muscle aches, the cramps, the inflammation, right? If you're not taking care of your inside, that's an issue, all right? So your skin is basically an outside source for defense against whatever you're dealing with, right? It's a really, really important piece. There's something called, and I'm just looking at my notes here. There's 2 things that are really important. Your saliva and something called cilia, right? Cilia is something that is actually all throughout your body. And what it does is it's one of the cool articles I read. It talks about it's kind of like waving, it's moving. And all it's doing is it's moving things up and out of you, right? So when you sneeze or when you cough, the cilia has identified something that needs to be removed, basically, right? So it gets rid of it. And that's the reaction that the body has to your internals actually working properly, right? So there's, let's go a layer deeper, right? So your skin is your largest organ. You got to take care of your skin. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are putting toxic chemicals on your skin, if you are not paying attention to the labels of the things that you're using, if you're not conscious of those things, your body will respond positively or negatively. And for many of us, we're afraid of getting older because all we see around us is a bunch of old people on a lot of old medications, side effects. They're hurting all the time. And it's mainly because the lack of information, right? The lack of the right access to the right information applied the right way helps, you long term, right? So there's basically, if we go beyond the skin, right, and look a little further into the body, there's, um, man, how do we put it? 5 different white blood cell types. Okay, and I know this is gonna get a little heady, but again, this is kind of an overview because the stuff that we're gonna start covering is gonna be real short, sweet, and basic coming up over the next however long this series takes. This immunity series is gonna take. All right. The first one, I'm probably gonna butcher this name, so you science people can tell me all about it. Neutrophils. Okay, let me explain what they are. They're the most numerous type of white blood cell. They freely move from your veins into your tissues to attack antigens. Now, I don't know much about antigens. I mean, I leave it to scientists and people who know that world the most. There's a whole section on that, and I'm going to kind of get into antigens in a moment. But I just want you to understand there's neutrophils is what I'm calling it, right? I probably been saying that wrong. The second one is phytocytes, okay? Phagocytes. They surround and absorb pathogens, right? They basically eat whatever the virus is, the thing that is trying to attack your immune system. All right, so you need those. And lymphocytes, right? They create antibodies to fight against any bacteria, any viruses, right? But what they do is they also create a memory bank for the body. For example, if you got a cold from a certain particular thing, well, during that process of you going through being sick and then getting healed, the body remembers, oh, this thing was an issue. Well, let us make sure we build up a defense. If it comes back in, we got a way to attack it quickly. That's that, right? The next one, I'm gonna butcher this name, basophils, right? They release a histamine when your body is exposed to an allergen. So you've heard of antihistamines, right? Or, those types of things. Well, this basophil releases it from your body naturally. So that when you get exposed to dust, pollen, all those different things, it can fight off that stuff. So you need this. The fifth one is, I'm terrible at this name, eosinophils. I probably said that totally wrong. But they participate in the allergic reactions as well as to help modulate inflammatory response. Okay, so it's basically like the controller for if something's happened in the body and you've started to get sick, well, it's going to make sure that the body responds to that the right way and turn up the dial on the inflammation response or dial it back as you get better. Okay, those are 5. Those are just 5 important things that you need of your white blood cells. Now, many of us know people or have heard of folks who are struggling with white blood cell counts, right? And so when you start decreasing those, you increase your ability for more viruses. Common things that you should be able to just fight off for somebody who has a low white blood cell count gets in trouble, right? Why is this important on this immunity series? Because what I want you to have at least just a simple generic understanding of is, from what I'm learning. Again, I'm learning this stuff, so I'm gonna be sharing as I'm learning, okay? But what I'm learning is there's a direct correlation between how much toxicity I expose myself to, and I'm learning a whole lot. I'm talking cleaning products. I'm talking what my skincare. I'm talking the things I clean my clothes with. I'm like a lot of things that I'm just starting to learn. Wait a second. There's a lot here that maybe I didn't realize. Now, there's some things that I learned a couple years ago that really started to help me with educating me and my family, right? But I'm learning more. If you are not careful, in short, about your immune system, you might already have a very compromised immune system. And so when we start having what's happening here in 2020 with the coronavirus and why it's spreading so fast and what's happening, I personally think because so many people's immune system is already seriously compromised, it's just, it's pretty easy, right? So we got to do things to make sure that our immune system is running at like full strength, right? Like if it's going to run, we want it to run the right way, right? Okay, so there's that portion of the conversation. Here's the second portion of the conversation, which is going to get us into our series and I'm going to literally do this every single day. I'm going to zero in on like specific things that you need to focus on for your immune system, all right? But the second part of what we consider for your immune system that's important is like known as the adaptive system of your of your immune, right? Of the immune portion of you, right? Of your immune system. All right. This basically, if something gets in, it starts to kick in, right? So if it broke through your skin, right, and your white blood cells are doing their part, and then now it's trying to attach itself to you and you get sick, this is the system that kicks in. It's the internal portion of that, right? The adaptive system, and I'm just reading a couple of my notes here, develops the antibodies that will allow you to fight off what you either already have, and also help the other portion of your system create basically a line of defense so that the next time it comes in, you don't have to worry about that. All right. There's one piece that I'm learning about more importantly lately, and that's basically what a pathogen is, right? So a pathogen is basically a protein, right, that is known as like an antigen. And what happens is your immune system cannot destroy a pathogen, basically a virus or something that's, that's trying to get into your body. It can't destroy it unless it recognizes the antigen. So I want you to understand how crazy the body is. The body's been, since we've been born, creating these kind of mini carbon copies of these viruses that keep trying to get in. So it knows that the next time it can recognize it, known as an antigen, and it attaches itself to it and says, yep, I recognize those. What do you already know? There's certain things that have happened to the human body that our immune system does not recognize. So it doesn't even do anything about it. Cancer, right? Like it doesn't see it. So we have to create things in a lab or what have you, right? So that the body goes, oh, that's a problem. There it is. Let me start attacking it, right? And we're trying to learn more and more as humans. But here's something that's really interesting. This is something that I read that I thought that was totally cool. When a pathogen is detected, specialized white blood cells known as B lymphocytes or B cells are dispatched. The B cells create antibodies. Antibodies are Y-shaped proteins that lock on the specific shape of the antigen. Now, there's a whole bunch of other information here, but let me kind of break this down in short. The moment a virus or something that you get exposed to tries to come in, whether it's whatever you've been putting on your skin or whatever you might breathe in, or, if you're getting a cold and your immune system is low, the body's immediately trying to first discover, and this is just me putting it in layman's terms, have I seen this before? If I have, great. Let me pull that file, right? Now we know how to deal with it. Let's go attack it. If I haven't seen this before, I've got to now discover, right? How do I deal with this? Well, I got to see something in there that I can recognize and start to basically work my way inside out of that particular virus or whatnot, right? That's what the body's basically doing every single time. It's making that decision. If I've seen it, yes. If I have, great. Let me go pull the file. Let me go deal with that. If I haven't seen it, I got to study this thing long enough, which is you getting sick, your body creating mucus or you coughing or whatever, right? But at the whole while, your body's learning, right? The body is freaking amazing, first of all, but the body's basically learning, right? It's learning how to deal with that. So the next time that happens, it can solve it faster. All right, there's that. All right. So there's a couple of things that I think that are really, really important for us to remember. When you start talking about, all right, what helps ensure that I have like a full, a defense for my body? What do I need to be focused on? What things do I need to pay attention to? How do I make sure my body is running at its most optimal, specifically talking about the gut, so that if something tries to come in, I'm in a much better position. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it has everything to do with what we eat and the lack of things that we aren't paying attention to. So for example, I didn't realize a part of my weight loss journey had a lot to do with how nutrient deficient my body was. I never, took a multivitamin when I was, at any point in time up until the last 2.5 years. I just didn't. I didn't think I needed one. I thought that's for like older people because all you see is the commercials, right? Our seasoned family members are, walk around taking vitamins. What I didn't realize was, well, based on how much processed foods I eat and the fact that, if you don't eat a lot of organic food, and you overcook your food, right? Which all three of those, kind of grew up that way, right? Your body's missing a lot of nutrients. So you need to make sure you have the right things in it. So here's what I'm going to do. Over the next however long it takes us to go through this web series, but I'm going to literally share with you 15 different things you need to focus on when it comes to making sure your immune system is working properly. Okay? 15 different things. And this is basically going to be like a lifestyle choice conversation. All right. So if you so choose, right, like the Mission Impossible commercials, right, your mission, if you decide, right, is to listen to these, I'm going to share things that I'm learning based on some research that I'm looking at, and I'm just going to share. It's about your lifestyle choices, and yes, it's going to push on what you eat. It's going to push on the things that you use around your house, just common stuff. We ain't talking about nothing crazy. Just the things that you're constantly using that could potentially be adding to a version of a compromised immune system. I didn't realize how good I could feel because most of us are kind of used to suffering in silence, right? You know, some of us, we got gut problems, right? We don't like to talk about it, right? But we deal with it. We take this pill for this high blood pressure. We take that. Like we don't talk about it, right? We just do what we do. Not realizing the whole time the long-term impacts of suffering in silence can become catastrophic the older that we get. So all I'm going to do over this series is literally walk you through 15 things you need to think about for your life, for the winter. Your family members are going to be coming around. You might want to share this information with them, but I'm literally going to share with you what I am learning and what's been helping me. How did I lose the 65 pounds? How is it I've not been sick? How is it I'm able to have the energy that I have? And I think here's the other thing. If you don't know somebody who's had asthma, like acute asthma, I was born with acute asthma, okay? Like I didn't go to a waiting room. I went straight to the ICU when I got sick. And maybe I'll tell my story as a part of this series. But I want you to understand, go talk to somebody who's had serious problems with their asthma. And you can just be walking. I could go from my office to up the steps and be in a full-blown asthma attack when it was at the height, okay? To not ever need my inhaler anymore, not refilling prescriptions, I'm not dealing with, but it has a lot to do with what I am putting in my body to help remove the triggers that I was so used to, all right? So some of these are going to push on things that you feel like, man, I like eating this, or and that's fine. But you got to start asking yourself a question. Is it worth me continuing down that path if I am learning and willing to be open with myself and honest that, hey, you know what? These things long-term ain't helping me, right? Dion Cole, great comedian. If you haven't seen his stand-up, Cold Hearted, please go watch it. I think it's funny. It's really good. But he makes this joke on IG all the time. Well, he used to. Right now he's disco and DJing. But he used to make this joke all the time, and it's very true, right? Comedy, the only reason why it's funny because it's got some truth in it. He used to always say, hey, you know what that tastes like already. Stop eating it, right? Like, so there's things that like we know what it tastes like already. That doesn't mean that it's good for you though long term. So some things you just need to stop eating. You know what it tastes like already. You've had it, you get it. Okay, great. But if you keep exposing yourself to things that and doing less of the right things long term, you already know what you're gonna get, right? And so what I want to be able to do is just share with you guys what I'm learning, right? The things that have been helping me, I'm my wife is happy because I'm getting to literally a flat stomach. Well, how am I doing that? It has a lot to do with what I'm not doing, right? But more so importantly, what I am doing that's more effective. That's all. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not saying that I'm Mr. Perfect. I am saying though that like I got some results and at least I'm not selfish with the results that I have, right? It's going to take some work, but I feel like if I share this information with you, I think it'll be helpful to you. So stay tuned because I'm probably going to try to do this literally every day. I'm going to try to hop on here. Now that I've gotten kind of the overview out of the way, this is probably be the longest video that I do. The rest of them will be nice quick hits of just information, but I want to share it with you guys and help you understand like what I'm learning. And hopefully it helps you. And hopefully you make some better lifestyle choices so that you can have the proper immune system. You're more educated, and I think educated people make better decisions. And if you find this helpful, man, please let me know. Share it with those that personally. If you're watching this replay, thank you for watching. Share this with someone. Let them know the immune series is going to start literally probably tomorrow. I will be on here and I am going to be sharing these things that I'm learning. Again, we're going to cover about 15 different things that you need to focus on when it comes to having the optimal gut health, right? And why it's important, right? I want to talk about some of the why. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a whole lot, and I just want to make sure that you got access to the right information as well. All right, that's it for today. That's it. Just want to kind of come in here, set the stage, share with you what's going on, and man, we're gonna have some fun. But hey, if you got questions, you got comments, leave them below. Let me know. Reach out. I look forward to being able to. Hopefully, this will add some value to you in your life. Have a great and incredible Monday. Continue to stay safe. Hey, y'all, wash your hands. By the way, wash your hands with something that doesn't have a whole bunch of chemicals in it. Start with that. All right. So anyway, wash your hands, stay safe, keep your family safe, continue to think on these things, and more importantly, stay tuned. And by the way, if you don't follow me on IG, you can go find me on IG because there's going to be other information that I'm going to be sharing there. Watch my stories above, right? Because on my stories, I'm also going to be sharing a couple of quick tip things that I do in my morning routines, things that I take care of in the evening. How do I keep the air in our house, the air quality in our house clean? I'm just going to be sharing like a bunch of stuff, right? So pay attention to all those things. If you can't find me on IG, I'll put it down below, but it's the Christopher Williams. You should see my crazy face on there as you see the information here below as well. All right. So thank you. This is the World According to Chris, and we're going to have some fun with this immunity series. All right. You all have a great, incredible day. I'll talk to you soon.